All right, welcome back to the Marine Corps Movie Minute, where we discuss movies in the Marine Corps 1 minute at a time. I'm Brian.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Chris from the Jay and Silent Bob Minute.
And I'm Jeff from the award-winning Jay and Silent Bob Minute.
I forgot we won that award that time.
Is it like the Smithies, like the, podcast?
I gave Jeff one of them novelty best dad ones. That's what
It's like the thing the teacher gives you at the end of the school year. Like, oh, you did a great job.
Gold star.
Yeah.
It's called
Major award.
It's called a participation award. That's what we got.
Like making the class laugh, like stuff like that. Terrible at math, but good at making class clown.
The same trophy I got for my lovemaking participation.
I was there.
I showed up for a few seconds. Well, I'm glad you guys could show up for this minute 122. It reminds me of the opening of MASH. We got a helicopter coming in. And it ends with a question posed for Major Powers. So right in the middle of Powers and Gunny kind of having a little face-off and a potentially tense situation as they don't seem to get along too well, a helicopter just miraculously shows up, thank goodness, and break the ice.
For the first 25 seconds of this minute, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you got it. Look, when you ask the Marine Corps to technically advise on this, you're going to get shots of them doing their thing.
Yeah.
And that thing is a helicopter actually landing.
Yeah.
Like, make sure it lands and make sure you can see Marines on the side of it.
Yeah. So United States, this is the Marines' Top Gun,
It's honestly not that much time, but when you're watching it minute by minute and you got 25 seconds of a helicopter landing, it's a little odd. You're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
When the invasion of Grenada happens, it is clear that they basically got the Marines to go out and do a like landing invasion, what do they call them, like an operational practice run. I forget. I can't even think what they're called right now. And it was only 3 minutes of the movie. But when you're doing a week of it and you're just talking and there's no dialogue and it's just like Amtrak's showing up on the beach, like it's like and like helicopters landing and all that, and it's a real Marine. It's real Marines doing real Marine shit. But it's like, how many times can you say, well, there's another amphibious landing vehicle?
Right. You can describe what they're doing and what they have, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Those were the G-rated minutes you guys were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Because we're like, well, although we still Perry was still able to tie the
squeeze one or two in.
Yeah, the landing craft was like a birthing thing when it launched from the naval vessel.
I'm glad Major Powers brought his camera along so he can get a picture of some of the flora and fauna.
Yeah.
He's there.
Well, when Colonel Meyers showed up, he should have said, Powers, what's with the pictures? This is a parking lot.
Oof.
Hey, Wang, don't tell him you're Jewish.
This he's on assignment for J. Jonah Jameson. He's got to get pictures of Spider-Man. So
First of all, there's no way this major has that camera. That's what his enlisted people are for. Here, you take pictures.
No, right.
I'm busy commanding whatever that is.
It's supposed to be.
He's going to get the right shots that he wants. He's a hands-on type guy. He's gonna
because he wants to be in the shots. I don't believe for a second he doesn't. He's like, now get a shot of me landing on this beach. Get a shot of me heroically entering this,
carrying this flag.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, it would have been great to see him like kind of posing over like when Stitch escorted some of the captured Cuban soldiers away. You could have seen him like, no, all right, now get one of me, and he's like pointing a gun at him, actually like he's the guy that just was marching them away and captured them, and doing the victory poses. This whole time, Lieutenant Ring standing there with his weapon at the well, not really at the ready. He's got but it's pointed up. He seems like that's the type of pose Powers would have been doing. For these action photos.
Those douchey MCT pictures that there's with their covers on backwards and their t-shirts with their you fucking assholes.
Although I gotta tell you, I like the group MCT photo we did in front of like the confidence course. Everybody's got their weapons. We're all like, yeah, we're cool.
It's only later when you look back at it, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Just I did want to note though that I'm very proud of Lieutenant Ring's trigger discipline.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, because a lot of the actors are not good, and he's doing a good job at this point.
Don't worry, a finger is my safety.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I've seen that in a few things, but I always think of Eric Bana in
Yep, Black Hawk
But
Down.
yeah,
Black Hawk
in Black
Down.
Hawk Down, yeah.
Yeah, and he does a little trigger pulling thing in there. Yeah, that's a
That
great
was a
movie.
badass movie. Yeah.
Movie's well done.
Yep.
I probably wouldn't tell a guy in Delta Force what to do with his weapon, though.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Let him be. Well, we get a reappearance of Colonel Meyers. And we've seen him a few times at the readiness drill and at the cocktail party. So that's who gets off this. That's his helicopter. That's who gets off to. He wants to know who's in charge here. I am, sir, Major Malcolm Powers.
Pass the 74, Annapolis.
Jeff, what you said about how like this is the opportunity for Powers to take credit for this assault. In his character flaw, it's almost like he's tattletaling to Dad about what the other kids did. I told him not to do it, but they did it anyways.
That was the feeling I got. Like he thought they were in trouble, so he's going to tell them. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Or if he was a more forward-thinking Marine, what he would have said was, I told these men to come up here and just observe. They went above and beyond. They took this thing. That's the kind of, this is the kind of group that I train. And they just rolled your success right on top of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, you show that initiative was given, but it's under my guidance.
Yeah.
He would have kept his job.
And they do play with the idea of, you think Lieutenant Ring and Gunny might get in trouble because the way Colonel Meyers is like, well, why? Like the way he said, why did you disobey orders? Why did you assault this hill?
Because it was fear.
Yeah, well, because it was there, right? Why did you climb a mountain? We get a replay of the famous line we've heard throughout the movie: because we're paid to improvise, sir, to overcome, to adapt. And he says it differently almost every time. And I'm convinced every time, like I was convinced if I watch this movie, and I've watched this movie 100 times, it's improvise, adapt, overcome. That's it. But he says it differently 3 or 4 different times throughout the movie, and this is yet another one. We're paid to improvise, sir, to overcome, to adapt.
Yeah.
But if I say it, it's always improvise, adapt, overcome, and that's the way it should be.
He's wrong, and I'm right.
Yeah. What does Clint Eastwood know about his movie and his dialogue?
Here, since I've been crapping on Major Powers and officers in general, I'll give a shout out to the LT here. He does take the hit for it if something bad is going to happen.
Oh,
Says,
yeah.
I ordered them to go up here.
And that's not the first time that Lieutenant Ring has taken ownership of something. He did it earlier to Major Powers when he said, but he was more sheepishly when he said it to Powers, when he's like, I'm the one that gave permission for Gunny to train the men, sir. Powers was pissed because he thought Gunny did it on his own. That was his opportunity to run him out of the Corps. This time when he takes ownership, he's confident. He's like proud of what he did. I gave the order, sir. Like he doesn't hesitate. Like Boy Gaines Boy Gaines the actor, but Lieutenant Ring goes from being, sheepish to pretty kick-ass, sheepish nerd to a pretty kick-ass nerd.
Well, even then he had a backbone, but now he knows how to use it a little bit.
Yeah, he's got some confidence. He's got some brass cojones because he, they just kicked ass.
He's also got Highway backing him up. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and Highway was the one that inspired him to make the call to take the hill. What are we waiting for, sir? Well, let's take this fucking hill. So, and then of course we get the question that's posed to him is what I hinted at is, are you new to infantry, Major? And
he should have known that was a bad question to get.
Yeah. I like that Colonel Meyers too. Like they always tell us this is a no, and I brought it up before, but you're not supposed to just walk around with your helmet unsnapped like your John Wayne on the sands of Iwo Jima. And he's just walking around throwing away his he's got a bit of a draw, a little bit of I'm a John Wayne type, I guess, is what he's kind of doing there, I think.
He gets the colonel pass. That's the problem.
Well, yeah. I mean, they can do what they want, of course.
It's like the E9 pass. He gets the E9 pass because he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. Because
who's going to tell
him for 30
him
years, and then you try doing it. Then you unsnap yours and let me know how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I've seen Chesty Puller put his hands in his pockets. Nobody's going to tell Chesty Puller not to put his hands in his pockets.
No, because Kimmy Trousers wouldn't have pockets if Chesty didn't want them there.
Right. Say goodnight to Chesty Puller, guys. Perry, did you do that in boot camp? Did you say?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Good night, Chesty, wherever you are.
Yep. Doing extra.
Yes, I remember boot camp. I had my big giant bed with my, extra pillows, and we had, the butler came in. At least that's how everybody from the other services thought.
Oh, well, my youngest is in the Air Force. He told us all about it. It's not so bad.
It's just different dumb shit for less amount of time. That's all it is.
Yeah, I did a 2-week or a week-long stint at Keesler Air Force Base, and it was like, it was a bunch of different services there, but I was hanging out with some Air Force guys, and we go to the chow hall, and I start gathering my stuff up, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm picking up, cleaning up after myself." No, they got people for that. They got civilians that come.
Hey,
back
leave
and
that
do
here.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I mean, the food was already way better, and then I'm like, "What? You're gonna take care of it?" They think, "Oh, this is awesome."
You have to be careful though, because not every place is like that. So normally, what I'll do is, if I'm somewhere I'm not normally, you have to like look around, like, what's everybody else doing here? Is someone picking stuff up, or am I going to be like an asshole if I leave this here?
Right.
I will say that's the one thing that's changed the most. So like since I came in till like now is when I first started, it was like there was the four real branches of service. I mean, you were so separated from each other, like you did shit together, but like only if you had to. Or like now they're trying to get rid of that because if the last 2 wars proved anything, you can't have people that have totally different names for shit and how they do things because it doesn't work when you all have to go together somewhere.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everybody's calling the same shit, different things, and it's real confusing.
Yeah.
Well, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, but this was called Operation Urgent Fury, and it was a clusterfuck. They were ill prepared to go in. They used civilian maps with grid lines. Sometimes the different, like if in this movie, Lieutenant Ring calls in an airstrike. Well, the people doing the airstrike and the people calling it in may be using totally different grids.
Yeah, some farmer gets his shit blown up.
They said at one point and I read this. One guy, he took some mirrors and went out and was like flagging down, the aircraft because it basically called down an airstrike pretty close to himself because he was so fed up with the communication. A lot of times they were on different channels. They couldn't communicate like with the radios. I don't know if it was the Air Force or the Army couldn't fuel up on naval ships, even though this was like a big naval invasion. So it was just a mess. And it was funny. Ironically, the thing I read was, well, there's nothing ironic about it. It just happens to be a name. But Dick Cheney was a congressman there, and I found a quote from him where they were like, "Yeah, we've learned a lot, and we need to basically that led to a lot of changes within DoD because of how as successful as this was, it was very poorly executed or planned." It went off well. It was a win.
We got lucky.
Yeah, but they did it was a clusterfuck with as far as planning and making things work. So yeah, and it's only gotten even more intertwined as the years gone on, as you said.
Well, now when we send people to school, a lot of the schools are complete inter-service schools at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you send people to the medical tech schools or whatever, it's Air Force and Navy and Army all go to the same thing. They all learn the exact same stuff because you're going to be working on all these people.
Yeah.
It's very rare now if you're going to be in a theater anywhere. You're not going to be okay, this is the Marine detachment. We're totally separated. We're not near anybody else. That's possible, but it's unlikely. You're probably going to have somebody from the Army with you.
Yeah, the only thing I could see that happen is we end up in another situation where it's the Army's in Europe and the Marines are in Japan, and good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, everything's going to be, everybody works together at this point, except the Coast Guard. Fuck those guys. They don't count.
Fuck those guys. Department of the Interior. They love when you say that.
Uh-oh.
I understand it's not really true anymore, but
hi, I'm back. I muted you. I'm like, oh shit! Now I'm turning into Chris.
That's what happened. You talked about the Coast Guard, and they found you.
Yeah, that's what I get for opening my big mouth. I didn't mean it, guys. Yes, I did.
I'm sorry. No, you're seriously one of the services. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Not that it was a good show, but did you ever watch Space Force? Shows on Netflix?
No.
I didn't watch the show, but I saw the things for it.
It's not a good show, but
that's what
they
I
would
hear.
have they would have a meeting of the Joint Chiefs. So it was, Air Force, Marines, Army, whatever. And each person's kind of a famous actor. And then they had the one guy there was a Space Force, and the Coast Guard guy would always show up. Be like, hey guys, you having a meeting without me? They're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually recently saw a thing. It was like when vets meet each other. They're at the gym, like, hey bro, You in the Army? You're a vet? Yeah, thank you for your service. Oh, thank you. I was in the Marines. Oh, hey, bro. And they're all hugging each other. Another guy comes, this keeps going on. They're all thanking each other for their service. And then a Coast Guard guy comes up like, hey, you guys vets? I'm in the Coast Guard. And next thing you know, it cuts to them throwing him out of the gym. And he's like, oh, man, it's a real service too, guys. I served. Oh, poor Coast Guard. They never get any respect.
They're excellent swimmers. That's the important thing.
I've seen what was that movie with Kevin Costner where he was like a Coast Guard?
The Guardian.
Saw it. I know.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen it.
Waterworld.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. This was the sequel.
Waterworld.
This was the Guardian was the prequel. That's how he learned all his water world moves and stuff. His time in the Coast Guard. That's legit, right? That's a thing.
Makes
Somebody
sense.
should check on that. Yeah. I do like that these guys are just all kind of just lollygagging around once the colonel shows up. They're just randomly standing there.
I guess the invasion's over.
Yeah, it's just kind of like that's it. They took this hill. We won.
Highway does get on his feet for him. I know that. That's all.
Yeah. Well, he respects him. He doesn't respect
He
Powers.
doesn't respect the other one at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because this colonel and him have, they may not have been served together, but they were in the same kind of region, same kind of background, and he definitely respects his frankness as well too. There's a mutual respect there. So yeah, now that's actually where I had my notes for like he doesn't have a cover on, but I can't see the colonel busting him.
I feel like they gloss over it, but like he won the Medal of Honor.
Yes.
They pretend like that's not a big deal, but there's most Medal of Honor winners aren't around to get it.
Right.
No.
Say. And then, like, how many of them ever return to active service?
I don't think too many, especially not modern times.
In modern times, it's the opposite of like you win the Medal of Honor, and I take that back. You're awarded the Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
They pull you out of service specifically because they don't want anything to happen to you after that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a Spielberg and your boy Tom Hanks. They did Band of Brothers, but they also did the Pacific, which was like kind of a follow up to that a few years later. And that focus, it's pretty good. I mean, I liked it, but it's not as good as Band of Brothers, unfortunately.
I've been waiting for the third one for fucking 10 years.
Which one is that? What were they
supposed to do? They were going to do the Mighty Eighth, about the 8th Air Force in Europe.
Oh, okay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I've been waiting forever.
Okay. Yeah, of course, you want an Air Force one, right?
It's like, hey, we were there too.
Right. And I helped. There was one of the Marines, I forget who it was, but one of the stories, because it followed kind of like 3 or 4 separate stories. The guy won the Medal of Honor, and he got pulled out of service, and he was doing like the war bond rotation like Captain America, But then he just wanted back in, and eventually he got back in, and he ended up getting killed, So it's like I can't see that.
I do remember. Yeah, I remember. But like, now it's more like it's like the Private Ryan thing of like, get him away from there. I'm like, no.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That and like, this movie does not show how infrequently that is given out or the level of respect that it demands. I think I saw someone with a Medal of Honor one time ever, and when he was coming around, it was like, listen, this guy's coming around. He won the Medal of Honor, and you will treat him with the respect that is due. And that is far more respect than we give anybody ever. It's just he was somebody in my unit. His dad won the Medal of Honor in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Like, but I mean, he came up. He was like wearing the actual like medal.
That's awesome.
It was just like you could see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
It was just like a celebrity was coming. He was like, "Ooh, all right, let me pretend like today I might actually shine these boots instead of just doing what I normally do and pretend to."
Yeah. Like in this movie, they almost play coy with it because it's like I feel like they want you to know that he won the Medal of Honor when Stitch Jones finds out, but we already get a shot of his Medal of Honor several times when they show his fruit salad, and I don't know, they may have mentioned it prior to that, so it's like it's not a secret, especially if you know what you're looking at. But the fact that Powers just completely disregards him and just kind of belittles him throughout, it's that I think somebody asked us and we're like, that's not realistic at all. Like
that's the one thing where it's like a little now, like when you see somebody when they're wearing their ribbons, like you don't look at them all. I think most of us look at the top one.
Yeah.
You just kind of want to know, like, what did this guy have? Like, it's like certain stuff at the top. You're like, yeah, whatever. Like we all have that.
Yeah, so you get the one for typing, the one for
It's like-
badminton,
Good job. You have an achievement medal. I have 5 of those.
Yeah. You didn't get caught. The good conduct medal. You didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you see that especially you see something like and because not only does he have the Medal of Honor, but he's got a bunch of bronze stars. He's got a couple silver stars, and several of them he won more than once as well. He's got all these combat action ribbons and medals and stuff like that.
Yeah, my main thing was anybody who, if you had a bronze star or above, you did something.
Yeah,
It wasn't just because you stayed in the same spot for 8 years and you were like, just, you were awesome at going to get chow for everybody.
right. Yeah, because
You did something.
where Perry and I were, I remember. Granted, we weren't in a combat unit by any means, but I remember there was a whole shop that got like NAM's Navy Achievement medals.
Yeah.
And it was like they all got it just because their like colonel was just basically put them all up for doing a good job on like some exercise or something like that. And we're like, seriously, motherfuckers.
That's like, that's like the for like the Air Force, that'd be like the achievement medal. Like you can get it if somebody puts you in for it and you've done something.
Yeah.
I honestly think at the time when we found out, we were fucking dripping sweat because we were moving boxes or busting rust, or we were doing some like real manual shit that we'd been doing for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
When we heard about that, I think I remember when I was like, "Oh, you fucking fuck this."
Yeah, I remember I was a little sore too because I remember when I first got the Cherry Point, I was assigned to this inspection. I basically go through. I was just boot and didn't know shit about shit. And I did my due diligence and I helped us pass a portion of our. It was actually from the Pentagon. I think they came down and did like this inspection.
IG inspection.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it was something like that. And then so the Gunny, I remember the Gunny was like, yeah, he goes, you did a great job. I'm really impressed. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. He's like, if I could, he goes, I want to put you up for a Navy Achievement Medal, but the colonel will never sign off on it. He doesn't like giving our MOS those things, or he just didn't believe in them. He goes, so I'm not going to do it. And he's like, but just know you got my personal thanks. And I'm like, oh, at the time I'm like, man, that's awesome. The Gunny's, I'm like Stitch Jones. I'm smiling. He's winking at me. It's a little awkward.
Blow it in your ear.
Yeah, exactly. We're taking warm showers in the wee hours of the morning. But yeah, when I thought back on it, I'm like, motherfucker, you should have at least put me up for it because maybe he would have said yes.
Yeah.
What is it? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys got anything else for this minute?
No, I just can't wait to hear what the colonel's words of wisdom are next minute.
You know what's funny?
What's that, Chris?
I have I don't like sports at all, but you said you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and Wayne Gretzky popped in my head. Why does that happen? Jeff, you're impressed, aren't you, Jeff?
You've been on Facebook enough times, that's why.
Jeff, you're impressed. I know you are. From our podcast, he would have yelled at me by now, but
he's being nice, or he's on mute. Who knows?
We muted him. I wish I had a mute button for him sometimes, I'll tell you. But no, I have nothing else for this minute. I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. I think we've covered this really in-depth minute of of the helicopter landing. Why don't you fellas tell everybody where they can find you?
My turn, Jeff.
Would be nice, yes.
We are the Jay and Silent Bob Minute. We're on doinggenre.com. We've done Clerks 1 minute at a time. We did Mallrats 1 minute at a time. We did Chasing Amy 1 minute at a time. We're getting ready to do Dogma, hopefully, pretty soon. I have watched a movie so far. And I don't know. That's all I got.
We are the Marine Corps Movie Minute Podcast, and we can be found on Instagram at Marine Corps Movie Minute Pod. The listeners don't know this, but we've actually tried to make this happen a few times. For whatever reason, I'm not going to take any blame, but it was my fault. We've kind of had some hiccups trying to schedule it. But just like Gunny, we're a bunch of hard chargers, and we're paid to improvise, to adapt, to overcome.